Here's the thing. There is a need in our community. There are people going without heat during cold winter months, or because of budget constraints, keeping their thermostats set so low, they might as well not have heat at all. No heat. Imagine that.
I was down to nothing, and I really couldn't afford to buy any. You know, it was cold. It was very cold the first time I called. And like I said, it's almost like being without food. You need the heat. And we survived the winter because Sur l'Amour provided what we needed.
Well, Fuel & More has saved my life many times here, and I'm deeply appreciative of Fuel & More, because I don't know what I'd do without them. I live on a monthly budget, and I don't have a lot of extra money at the end of the month. And this year, they're going to be bringing me a cord of wood. Getting that wood has definitely put me in a great shape. Stress-free now, not to have to worry about it. So it's a good thing.
First of all, I just want to say I am so grateful for Fuel & More. I've been on it 1 year, and instead of having my thermostat at 50 degrees, I was able to have it up a little bit so I didn't freeze. And I can't say how grateful I am to the people of Kittery who have given donations, so other people like that get in situations like I did or am kind of, but to help us out. I found out about Fuel & More. I had called the York County, I forget what the name of it is, the Action Committee, to get help from them. And with my income, I just missed qualifying for that. And then I called Fuel & More, and it was like a dream come true. I mean, I answered questions, about my income and everything like that, what my plans were. I just can't explain the feeling that I have for it.
Without Fuel & More providing us with fuel assistance, I have 3 children. I don't think we would have been able to afford the fuel. As a matter of fact, I know we wouldn't have been able to afford the fuel that we needed. The house would have been cold, and there would have been nothing we would have been able to do about it.
As I remember it, I saw a brochure or an announcement at Town Hall when I was over there, so I gave them a call. Because I had been turned down for fuel assistance, I made about $1,000 too much. The ease of service is much appreciated. It happened almost immediately. They didn't delve deeply into your personal life or overwhelm you with forms or asking for personal data, which can be real risky.
I don't know where I'd be without Fuel & More. I'd be very cold in the wintertime. I think when your mind is focused on how am I going to eat, keep myself warm, it's something that, you concentrate on all the time. And having just one thing taken away, it just makes it a lot easier to live.
Before Fuel & More, we tried town assistance, and unfortunately we were just over the threshold of where we needed to be as far as income, so we couldn't get any help through the local town. And fortunately, Fuel & More stepped in, and they provided us with the fuel that we needed to get us by. Not just on one occasion, they helped us out on 2 occasions, because if we didn't have that assistance, we might have had to have cut from other things. We might have had to say, okay, well, we're not going to buy as much food. We're not going to be able to maybe pay the electric bill. I mean, you have to make different sacrifices to be able to pay for your fuel. I mean, it's very expensive, and the winters around here get very cold.
I would like to thank Fuel & More because they helped me through a very difficult situation. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it's been very expensive even though I have insurance. So this gave me one less bill to worry about.
One of the things I really had to overcome was embarrassment. I was pretty successful at what I did, and coming to the point where I had to ask somebody for help, I had a hitch in my soul. But it got to the point where I had to get away from that embarrassment, because it was embarrassment. And I had to ask somebody for help. And I'm so glad the people at Fuel and More have the foresight to reach out, try to reach out the best they can to people who need what the services that they need. But you can't be embarrassed to ask, because you've got to live. You've got to be warm.
I was so happy with the service of Fuel and More that I passed the word. I live in a trailer park, and I passed the word to a young couple who had two children, and they thanked me for the service that they got provided. They got an instant program. I mean, they got fuel right off the bat. I try to give other people who really need it. But they said, well, I work. And I said, it doesn't matter. If you're in a hump and you're behind your bills or you can't afford a car, and it's what's happening. It's a beautiful program. Fuel and More is my program.
Fuel and More is Kittery, people helping people in Kittery, and there's no one in between.
Fuel and More is fantastic.
Fuel and More helps Kittery families stay warm and stay in Kittery.
Here's what I want you to do. This winter, turn your heat off for 1 week, or just 3 days. In the dead of winter, it is as bad as you can imagine.